What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to The Fringe. If you saw this morning's video, we talked about how Donald Trump essentially ended Canada's future by mentioning that CUSMA will not be renegotiated, and rightfully so. He should have ended Canada's future. Prime Minister Mark Carney doesn't really care about it. We all know what Mark Carney has to say. Well, he says, who cares? It's no big deal. I'm going to get on a jet and head over to China. I'm going to sell Canada out to China. Meanwhile, there's been an ongoing distraction show happening in the country as Premier Danielle Smith has sat down numerous times with Mark Carney, again just before the new year, to say, oh, we talked about, the MOU, we talked about pipeline deals, and Mark Carney really wanted to listen to what we had to say about pipelines. Now, I'll give credit where credit is due. Danielle Smith is doing her job as Premier to try and show the rest of Canada that, hey, Alberta just wants to be part of the game. Alberta doesn't mind sharing its resources with Canada so long as Canada wants to work with Alberta. She's showing everybody in real time that Mark Carney has no interest in Alberta, that this isn't about the country or unleashing its economic potential. In fact, it's all about benefiting Brookfield. Now, we've shown multiple videos that show the amount of money Brookfield intends to make off of its U.S. investments, particularly in the oil industry. And that's why it's no surprise that a press conference was held yesterday. I was waiting for a statement from Premier Smith on this, but I think it's important we talk about it now. I will update when that comes out. Real Mr. Bench saying there will be no northern pipeline from Alberta to the BC coast. So the MOU is essentially dead. Carney gave First Nations a commitment that Liberals would seek a free, prior, and informed consent, meaning a veto. First Nation leaders then said, we oppose any project that proposes to bring oil tankers to the North Coast, which is very hypocritical. Very hypocritical. When we look at this graph here, table salt brings it straight to mind. Christy Clark reveals that while BC maintains an oil tanker ban, the Valdez Marine Terminal in Alaska sends an oil tanker with 2 million barrels a day of oil every single day, only 20 kilometers from Victoria along the coast of Vancouver Island on the U.S. side. So you can see down here how close that comes to the coast. And they sit there and talk about, well, we need to be consulted. We need to have our vetoes. It's important to remember that Coastal First Nations is actually a not-for-profit that receives massive amounts of cash